we are live. So, hi everyone. It is
Hi.
Sunday, February 11th, and today we're going to be talking about the basics of wig stylings, from tools to techniques and stuff like that that you need to know just for basics, because wigs are finicky little creatures, and unless you're getting a human hair wig, you're in for an adventure. So, my name's Sam from Thermal Cosplay, and I've been cosplaying now for almost 10 years. It'll be 10 years.
Ah.
It'll be 10 years in May. So,
Oh yeah, because right, 2014.
mhm. So
Coolio.
it'll be 10 years in May.
Oh,
Yay!
I'm Jinx cosplay. I've been cosplaying for 22 years. That is so weird. Yeah, based and there are two kittens in this house, so I apologize for all the background noise, but yeah, wig styling. Let's do this.
So, some things I want to talk about, like tools that you'll need. We're going to go through tools for stuff that you should really have as like a basic if you want to style your own wig and make it easier for yourself, because while you can style it on your head, it's not very easy to do, and it typically becomes problematic when you're trying to get all the way around unless you have someone helping you. It's good if you're doing something that's really, like, if you're doing a ponytail wig and you don't have a mannequin head that's exactly your size. Like, I have the problem where my head is just small enough to be an issue for a lot of mannequin sizes. So I've got the smallest wig head. It's a canvas head, and I'll show you guys that. But it's the problem is it's still a little too big. So this is my canvas wig head, but it's still just a little too big for me. So if I am doing like a ponytail style or something that requires like something really far pulled back, I would put it on my head with my wig grip, and I'd ask someone to pull it back for me and secure it, and then I would transfer it to my wig head. So at least I know like how far back and how tight it needs to be so that it doesn't have sagging and gapping. But that's what's really important when you're styling wigs, is making sure you have one of these wig heads or a wig form or something that
Now,
is
don't get
exactly
the
your head size
styro.
if you can.
Yeah, don't use the styrofoam wig heads. Those are way smaller than a human's head. I mean, for a
Well, and that's the
child,
funny thing
yes.
is I used to use those and they worked fine until they changed the size of them recently, and now they're
Oh,
even
really?
smaller than they were before. And so I don't know why they changed the size, but they are now the size of like a child's head.
Yeah.
So they're like, I think the average adult head is 21.5 to 22 inches around. Mine
Hmm.
is only 20.5, which becomes problematic. It's 20 to 20.5 depending on how much hair I have in my head. And most children, I think, is like between 16 and 18, and that's what most of those styrofoam wig heads are. So it can be a really big issue for most adults to
No, I
use a
think the
styrofoam
male
wig head.
might be better, but those are probably still on the smaller side.
They're
No,
about
still
18, 19 now.
okay.
So it worked. The male ones work for me when I can find them. They're actually getting much harder to find too for some
Hmm.
reason. So that's why I just invested in this canvas one. And even though it's 21 inches, it's just a little too big for me. It's okay because wigs stretch out. So if I put it on my head and then I stretch it out a little bit, as long as I have it secured at the proper length, if I need a ponytail or updo, I know I'm going to be okay. And that's really only important for like ponytails or updos, because those, you don't want any sagging or gapping, or it will make it look like your scalp is wrinkled. So
Now, those canvas wig heads actually are not very expensive. I mean,
it
yes,
was
they,
only $20 for mine, I think, 20 or
mhm.
20 or
And
25.
a lot of them come with the clamp, right, Sam?
It
So,
came it
um,
came with it came with this wig clamp that attaches to a
a
desk, so
table.
you can adjust it, and then you put the head on top of it. And then I already had a tripod, then I just grabbed a separate clamp that I could put on my tripod so that I like to style it. I like to hold it with my toes and style, because most of my wigs end up being too long for me to put on the clamp and work from a desk. Um, but the cool thing about it is when I bought the canvas head, it came with a wig grip for the head so that you can snap it in place so that the wig won't slide around. It came with a bunch of these nice little pins, and these pins are used to secure the wig, and it helps keep the hair from getting caught in it. So you can slide it right out. And it also came with like some sewing tools, and like it came with like a little kit. So that was nice because I presume they're assuming you're sewing your own wigs or doing repairs, which is why you need the canvas head. But buying a canvas head, typically it's not just the head that you receive. Everyone else I've talked to that have purchased canvas heads, it's like a little kit that it comes with as well, because they're expecting you to do some kind of wig working.
Couple comments here. Matt says, two of my favorite gals. Hi, thanks for tuning in. Wigs are the bane of my existence. Big head, traps heat. I like to try and do characters that match my hair. Always give props to people who commit with wigs. No, and totally understandable. Definitely wigs can retain a lot of heat, which is great in the wintertime, but not so great in the summertime. But I just want to mention also the pins that Sam got. I have these pins, which for me, it's easier to find them in the wig because sometimes they get lost and I can't
I
find them.
have a hard time with those just with curly. Like, the
Mm,
curls tend to get caught around the larger sides. It's fine if
yeah.
it's a straight wig, but the curls always get caught on the diamond bit. Um, I don't
Mm.
have those. They were useful. I've borrowed them from her before,
They're
and they were
corsage
useful for when we did,
pins.
like, Louisa. When you have, like, either really large curls or when you have straight hair, those work really well, but be careful if you got super tight curls because the tight
Mhm.
curls will catch in the diamond. That's where I like the flat heads because they don't catch in that. Because if they get caught, it's really easy. They have this turnaround, so you can just rotate it and it slips right out.
And you'll find these pins at places that will sell like hat making supplies. Um, they call it like or T pins, long T pins, upholstery
Mhm.
pins will also be long enough.
Yep. You
Yeah,
just need a
so
really long pin. Do not use the pins you use in your clothing when you're sewing. Those get caught because the
mhm,
heads of those have, like, this little nick underside, like, this little hole under them, and the hair will just and then you'll
yeah.
wreck a whole possible strand or series of strands. So, yeah, you want to get pins for your wig head that are meant to be pinned into wigs. Definitely focus on that. Um, and then, also getting, like I said, this one came with, it has a wig grip, and it's adjustable, and it's basically just a piece of elastic that has kind of it feels like a felt material on it, so that I can pin it around wherever the wig's gonna be and make sure that it won't slip, because sometimes even though it's pinned in, you might get, there are some wigs that when you purchase them, the netting in them is a little bit looser, and having that grip there just ensures that it stays in place.
Yeah, and then also depends on like the, the delicateness of your wig too. You don't want to be putting in too many pins. We probably won't touch much on lace fronts because that's not really wigs 101. But in cases like that, you're gonna want to use less pins so you don't rip the lace.
Yes,
But
and I actually brought, like, a lace front wig, and so, this is one that I actually wear daily now, and you can see where, like, I'm still trying to work on a hairline for it because it's a little dark, so I've been slowly but surely cutting it back to what matches my hairline, um, and it is a trial and error process, if you're using lace fronts, so, we can get to that near the end, but yeah, that's lace cutting takes practice, and that's why you cut far and then you just work your way in until, like, I cut far away from this even though it was meant to have, like, had extra baby hair so that I could cut in deeper, and then I'm just slowly working my way in till I think I only need, like, a couple more strands removed and it will look more natural, but it's definitely tricky. So, aside from having, like, maybe either a tripod or a desk clamp so that you don't have to hold, because holding the canvas head while you're trying to style it does not work. You want something that keeps it in place. Um, so definitely
worst
look
thing
at
is
getting.
worst thing is
Yeah.
like having that wig head like on the table and just I don't even know. Like I think before one time I lost my like wig clamp and I was like trying to like tape it down, but no, it's not it doesn't that's not going to work. But there are a lot of
No, it doesn't make life easy or nice or anything. So,
but I have seen people do things like stick the wig head on a broomstick and stick the broomstick on something else, or like a camera tripod or whatever. Although, finding these tools once you're getting into wigs, you really do want to invest in some good tools. And people that have worked with wigs and can't figure, have such a hard time understand that. So consider like investing in some of these tools.
yes, and I'm bringing out some things too for, like, wearing wigs and stuff, but I wanted to bring out, where are my little I'm trying to find my wig clips. Where'd my clippies go?
So for clips, like those big giant banana clips that you can find at like beauty supply stores, is that what you're talking about? Those are usually good for like putting the hair aside. Remember that like wig styling
Not
is
those. I'm
mm,
looking for, like, the ones that you can sew in, but I actually these are
ah yeah, the banana clips. So those are
and you can
great
get
for
ones with and without
ooh,
teeth too. This one actually has so this one has a silicone band. This is specifically meant for a synthetic wig so that the hair doesn't slip.
that's great. I need to get some of those.
But
So,
then you'll usually find these ones where it's just
mhm. Now those
and
are the
this
most
works for natural
common.
hair. you know?
Yes. So remember that wig styling, there's a lot of similarities to regular hairstyling in terms of like, um having to use some of the similar tools. That's really cool. You need to like send that link of that silicone band hair clip because I should be using those
Yeah,
instead.
I was just looking for, like, wig styling for, like, synthetic wigs, and these were what was sent with it, and they were
Mhm.
so good.
Nice. Wow, those look really, really cool. I like them. Anthony says, "Hello, ladies. Love the outfit thermo. I know it's super, super cute. I'm here
Is
lazy
this a
again."
pink cow?
I have an Encanto sweatshirt. Does that count as being geeky?
Oh, I
um,
found it. So the other thing I was talking about too, when you're styling a wig, you may need these clips. They're like you can sew them in, you can glue them in, but these clips are really good if you have a wig that ends up being a little too big for you, which is my bane of my existence. And you can add those in and make it ensure that it clips into your hair. But if you're someone like me who doesn't really have much hair, um, I also recommend like a silicone grip that you put underneath. And if the silicone grip's too expensive, you can also just get the really inexpensive. Um, it's like felt
like a velvety,
velvet. It's
something.
velvet. That's what it is. That's the word I'm looking for. It's a
It's
velvet,
stretch velvet.
and it's completely adjustable. As you can see, my head is tiny, so I'm like at the tightest one. But yeah, you just put it on around your head, and it keeps everything secure. And you will want these too, though, if you're not using a canvas head and you do end up using one of the male styrofoam heads, or maybe you have a custom styrofoam head, or maybe you have one of those flesh tone heads that matches yours, you'll want a wig grip, even if you have pins, to make sure, like Jinx said, for the more delicate wigs, you keep them in place and you use fewer pins.
Now, do you remember though, if you do decide to wear one of these, hold on a second. Okay, if you do decide to wear one of these wig straps on your head, do remember that if your head is on the larger side, it will be adding, um,
More bulk.
yeah. Okay, good. You said bulk. I was gonna say girth, and
No, I
and
mean,
I'm now laughing.
that's why if you do have a larger head, I actually recommend these silicone stretchy ones
Mm.
because they get so thin when they're stretched around, and they have these little nodules that they do push into your skin, but they'll leave marks. You'll By the end of the day it'll go away because it's silicone. And so it's useful because it's not adding bulk, whereas the velvet ones will add more bulk.
Also, usually the reason why Sam likes to use those as well is because if you haven't seen Sam without wigs, she actually does not have that much hair.
I'm
So
mostly bald.
yeah, so people with longer hair like myself, I usually don't need those because what I'll do is I'll do two braids and then I'll wrap the braids around my head like a crown.
Yeah, and then most
Ah.
wigs have like these kind of teeth in them, so you can just put the teeth in your own hair.
Yeah, so for me, using my braids as like a crown really helps keep the wig on. And then, of course, when I have my hair down, I have more hair here for those combs to catch. However, Sam's hair is shorter than the wig she's wearing. So if you have short hair in general, wig grips are almost a must. If you have things like, shaved sides or really short, or you have a shaved head, you're going to need something to grip that wig.
Yep.
So definitely invest in that. I don't need it, but if you have shorter hair than this, I would say,
Yeah, and if you don't wanna
consider
use
it.
the grip, then you'll definitely need to invest in things like either, Pro-Aid, which you can wash out, or wig tape. So this is wig tape, and it's just double-sided tape that's safe for your skin. I have to get the more expensive one that's silicone-based because I can't use latex on my face. Um, but, it's pretty. So this one, like the silicone one I'm warning you, if you have a latex allergy and you use the silicone wig tape, it is really thick. You can feel it. Um, and you cannot have any makeup on your skin. If you have makeup on your skin, the silicone will just come right off.
Mm.
Latex usually is fine. It doesn't seem to care. But the silicone ones, you have to have absolutely clean skin. So that's where what I like to do when I'm wearing wigs is I put the wig on and I kind of draw a line telling myself where I need the makeup to end, and then I take the wig off, do my makeup, and then put the tape down if I'm not gonna be wearing a wig grip.
Nice. Yeah, I again, like I've had this is about as short as my hair's been since wearing wigs. So I usually don't have to worry about those things. But if you do, have to get adhesives, be sure to test your skin first to make sure that you're not allergic to whatever is in the adhesive. Yeah, because you don't want to have like big rashes on your face.
No, you don't.
That's going to definitely ruin your con experience.
And if you guys have any questions about wigs, let us know. We've kind of gone through like having tools, like we have the pins. I had scissors, but like one of my blades fell off my scissor. Like there's the blade
Ah,
right there, and then there's the blade right there. It's supposed to be uphill.
so a couple comments. Anthony says,
No.
"Love the background." Thank you. It's a virtual background. He says, "I see Banjo Kazooie on your hoodie. I don't know what that is. What is that? This is an Encanto hoodie.
Encanto.
Oh, Banjo Kazooie.
Kazooie. Oh, that's a video game character. No, she's got
Oh,
the Encanto
Encanto.
village. It's like kind of like a stage. It's meant to look. I mean, it kind of looks like the platformer, but
Oh
yeah.
yeah, it looks like the little Donkey Kong platformer.
Mhm.
And then do you guys watch the Super Bowl? No, we're watching this. You guys should be watching this. Watch our replay.
I don't like
So
football. I'm sorry, guys. Unpopular opinion, but I don't really like violence in sports. I think it's stupid.
so
I think
moving on.
sports should be more about strategy like they used to be.
So moving on, Sam talks about scissors. Now, people often forget about what wigs are. Wigs are plastic, pretty much. They're plastic fibers.
Most of them
Um,
are. Yeah,
mhm,
like this
most
is
of
a
them are.
plastic fiber. Like this one's a really realistic looking wig, but it's all
Mhm,
synthetic.
mhm. Now,
Now,
it's
I
gonna
dusted it so it wasn't as shiny.
Yeah, and it's gonna dull scissors over time.
Mhm.
So often make sure that, I just buy the cheap like hair cutting scissors
Yeah,
online.
you can get these too, which are really useful
Mhm. And
because
then
you
they
can
also
unscrew the ones out and replace the blades.
yeah, that's a good idea
So,
too.
yeah.
And then they also make these thinning shears as well, which can help if you want to thin out some really, really thick wigs. Um,
I honestly lately have been using leather shears because there's
mm,
leather sharpeners for these, so I just put them in the sharpener and they keep getting sharp. So you
Good,
can
that's
also
a good
use
idea.
those.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, cutting is a little bit beyond 101 because again, like it has a lot to do with like hairstyling, but you can do some basic cutting like cutting the bangs. But we
Always
won't get into
start longer and work your way shorter.
yeah, we won't get too much into cutting, but like yeah, always start longer than you think that you're going to be, and then it definitely helps to have somebody else cut it for you, but I have put the wig on myself and cut it. It's really really tricky, but it's doable.
I did that
um
with these like this hair
mm,
this wig came all the way down to here, like all the way around. So I cut it to about here and then I had a friend help me work up to here because I could get about here, but I couldn't see close enough to my eyebrows, so I just closed my eyes and let them cut so that it was even.
Yeah, and then also we might as well talk about how we put on wigs as well. So wigs actually do have like a top side, a bottom side, and almost all of them will have ear tabs. And ear tabs are the most important part of. You need to really know where those ear tabs are to make sure that it's even, unless you're wearing a wig purposely, to change the way that the part is. But in general, you're going to want to follow the shape of the wig. So this is the inside of the wig, as you can see, has combs on the sides and one on the top. The back of it, the bottom part, should look like a little bra elastic. Oh, yours is black. It's hard for me to see, but the bottom part will have, yeah, a little elastic, yep, bra hook elastic with a couple different loops, and that is to tighten the wig if necessary. So if you don't, I usually don't actually need to tighten them, or sometimes I'll just put them on the biggest loops. Now, when you put the wigs on, you want to find those ear tabs, and those ear tabs are going to go over, guess what, your ears. Ah. And as long as you have those ear tabs even, your wig should be pretty straight.
Yeah, it should. And the ear tabs are the hardest part too. Like I have a wig on so I can show people. Let me bring this back. No, no.
Oh no, her wig's
My
escaping.
tripod got caught. But so like right here, my ear tabs are right here. And I have to have them right above my ears.
Mhm. Yeah,
Right there.
and then that will definitely tell you that the wig is straight where it's supposed to be. So definitely don't do any cutting until you're sure that your ear tabs are in place.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that it's at the tight, tightness that you want it at. Um, so I know there's a lot of confusion. People don't know how to wear wigs. Additionally, if you have a lot of hair like me, you really should be wearing a wig cap. Now, almost every single wig comes with a wig cap. You've probably seen them. They look like, little like nylon stocking top or like the netting stocking top. Um, and not everybody needs them. Again, like Sam, I don't know if you use them very often. I have to use them every single time. So there's two different kinds. One is like the stocking top that doesn't have a hole in it, and those literally just go over your head to keep all the hair together. Dun, 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 dun. Yes. And that helps smooth down any bumps that you have. It also makes, a little bit more traction on your wig. I have seen people that just put like a wig on and they'll stuff their hair up in there and they're like, why doesn't my wig stay on? I've never had a wig fall off. Never, ever in my life. Even when I wear like headpieces, I have a lot of headpieces with magnets. Those wigs do not move. The other type of wig cap is the this one, the what's it called? Fishnet
It's in
stocking.
fishnet.
Yeah, it's a fishnet. Now this one has a hole in the top and it shows you how you can actually wrap your hair up in it. And I mean, I wouldn't recommend this if you have really long hair. Probably my length of hair would be good. But I still find that it's not as secure. But this is a great way as well if you have a bit shorter hair that you can't braid up. That's going to hold all your hair up in place.
I've actually so it's also a trick that drag queens use. If they've got like a quick change of like their wig, they'll put that netting over it and like tuck it in nicely, and then they'll have it bobby pinned to the second wig above and put it down. So when they rip off that wig, it like, just releases the wig. So if you're a quick change artist and you want to wear double wigs and do that, I mean that's another way you can use it too.
Double wigs. All right, so considering that the fibers of a wig are plastic, you do not want to use plastic styling tools because that's just going to create
You
friction.
want more metal.
It's going to create friction. It's going to create a lot of damage. And you want to get specifically metal tools. Yeah, exactly. So
You
metal
can
bobby
use
pins.
this, but this is specifically for wig styling. So it has 3 different heads. And so the plastic in this has been tempered for it. So you're okay there, but make sure you're paying attention. Like this said wig styling brush. It has to say wig styling brush.
Well, and also that's just for styling, not for actually brushing through your
Oh yeah,
hair.
no, this is for brushing. This is for
Is
brushing
it?
because it's got the 3 different heads.
Oh, okay.
Depends, like this is for bangs, this is for straighter hair, and that's for curlier hair.
Yep. So definitely metal is going to prevent a lot of that static. Yeah,
I do
brushing my
have a metal
hair.
one, yeah, it's
Yeah.
better.
And then when you do brush your wigs, you're not going to brush it like you do regular hair. You're going to start at the bottom. Okay. Start at the bottom, kind of like hold it so there's not too much tension because the more that you pull, the more it's going to come out of the wig. It's only a lot of times they're only looped through the netting and they can come out quite easily. So to be able to preserve it, you want to kind of like hold it, control it, and then slowly
Yeah,
brush your wig
that's a
up
good
to the
point. If you
top of the
see it
wig.
shedding a lot, you're being too aggressive.
Yeah. So definitely want to be gentle with brushing out a wig. It is possible. I know a lot of people are scared of brushing out wigs. Again, if your wig is I've seen wigs very, very ratty at the bottom, but maybe they're not using, a metal brush and the fibers are getting all tangled. Over time, a wig will lose shape, but then again, it is plastic. So there are ways to reshape it.
You
So
can
always
reshape it.
remember.
You can also, if you're like with human hair wigs, you should be washing them a minimum of once a week. Minimum. I recommend 2, but minimum once a week.
If you're wearing
If
them all
it's
the time.
synthetic, you really only need to wash it, I'd say once a month, but make sure you disinfect it because if you're wearing it somewhere, like if you're not sweating a lot, then you only need to wash it once a month. If you're sweating a lot, make sure that first of all, don't pack it away right away. Take it out, disinfect it with some Febreze, and let it air out for 24 hours so that way any bacteria that could be built up from the sweat is gone.
Yeah, absolutely. Stick it on your wig head when you get home. Let it air
I don't
out.
even do that. I turn it inside out and I hang it on a hanger.
That's a good idea too. Also, I always make it a point to brush my wigs before I put them in the bag. And that's really because the next time you pull it out, you're trying to get ready and it's all tangled. Don't do that to yourself. Don't be mad at
No.
past Jinx who was too lazy to brush it. So
Or
I always
I sometimes will just put a note on it, like, "Add in
Mm.
brush this," and if it has a specific sticky note on it, I know that that needs to be taken care of before I go to con.
Oh, man,
Like,
no, I
"Oh, that's
always
the
brush them.
problem child."
Yeah, I always brush them before I put them in, and then, of course, like, these wigs usually come with hair nets. If it doesn't, I would invest in getting a couple hair nets to keep all that hair, again, because if you're s I store mine back in the plastic bag that usually comes in, or I get those, like, like, storage bags or the Shine shopping bags, so the hairnet helps it from, too much plastic friction as well.
Yeah,
So definitely
and then I
hairnets
wanted
are
to
a good
share
idea.
so the wig I'm wearing today, you guys saw when I took the hood off, it was this straight, and everything was straight and down past my chin, that's what it looked like. And then we ended up taking metal, um, bobby pins, and we curled the entire wig except for the bangs like this, steamed it, put a bag over it, and let it cool for 24 hours, and that's how I got, like, all these little curls and waves everywhere. And by the way, I have cleaned this, and I have not recurled it since. So this curl has lasted. I mean, it used to be a lot curlier, like, it's starting to get less curly, it's starting to die off, it used to be super curly, but this curl has lasted 6 years.
So again,
Synthetic hair is different.
yeah. Again, it's a plastic fiber. So I found these hair curlers, which are mostly metal. It does have a plastic overlay on them, but I love to use these when styling because I can easily stick pins in them. So what I usually do is I'll clamp it with a banana clip, and then I will also stick a pin through it so that it doesn't like weigh down and create any kind of like a fold. Don't use, never use these the Velcro ones. Oh my God, don't. They're bad. Not only again is that plastic versus plastic and spends a lot of time in the hair because it's hard to take them out, but also obviously they're going to cause a lot more tangling. So these ones are great, metal ones. Or even just the regular plastic ones. I know we say don't use plastic, but those aren't really like rubbing up against the hair
Well,
like
and those
constantly.
2, the regular plastic ones, those again are heat graded, so there
Mhm.
is a difference between just standard plastics and ones that are meant to have heat applied to them.
Now, what I like about these ones is that they are very like open. They have a lot of mesh. And as Sam mentioned, steaming. Now, people are often like, why isn't my wig staying? I'm using hairspray. But again, it's not real hair.
You
So
can't, yeah, you have
essentially,
to treat it like you would plastic.
yeah, essentially you want to melt it in place. Now, this is my favorite steamer because this is a on demand. So it has a little water reservoir, but it only steams when you hit the button. And it has like a hot plate too, which I don't usually use for wigs. But why I love these is because there's a lot of space for all that steam to go through, even to reach the base of the wig. Now, Sam mentioned also you can, oh, I look, I can see my reflection. Wow, it's like Jinxception. Um, so also what you can do, you can also put a bag, like she mentioned. Now, when you use plastic bags, try to use one without any like print on
Any
them,
print on it?
or
Yeah.
use the non-printed side
I use
on
a
your
canvas
hair.
bag.
And then you can always like put all the curls in there, and much like these old like hair dryers that you see, put the bag in it, and then you can put the steamer in it as well so that it steams all over. I prefer to steam each curl individually, but you'll find your technique and what works for you, what works best for you. Now, when you put these in, you have to leave them in, I say 24 hours to make sure that they are fully dry. It has to dry in this shape. And that's very similar to regular hair as well. You actually don't heat it in place; it cools in place.
Mhm.
So never get too eager to pull out the curls. Give yourself enough time to style the wig before you have to wear it, and that's gonna hold that curl in for, like Sam said, for years maybe. When people do things like they have princess companies, and so maybe their wigs might go out every day or multiple times a day, those probably need more restyling, but those curls stay pretty good throughout several wears before it needs to be restyled. Cosplay Choco's watching us from YouTube. Hi, hello, love y'all. Sorry I couldn't hop on this time. No worries. Again, guys, if you're just joining us, we do have a different schedule going on, so you will see a little less of us live, but we're going to
Yeah,
try
we're
and
going to be
do.
doing, a Cause Talk Live instructional stream, once a month, and we're moving to, 1 Wednesday a month doing a crafting stream.
And there may be more, but those are what's going to be our regular schedule.
Mhm.
So again, like
'Cause
if you
all of
have,
us are moving around and doing different things now, it's
yeah,
hard to get everybody together.
I know we're like being like adults and stuff. So this again is my favorite steamer, although you can use any steamer. It does not need to be the specific steamer. Now you can heat style it. You just have to be very careful and use a low setting on your heat tools. And then definitely test it first because some fibers nowadays, the cheap wigs actually are getting pretty good. I've noticed that even the cheap wigs have a pretty good fiber that is easy to style. I'd say about 15 years ago, there were a lot of really cheap wigs that literally would melt. So definitely look out for wigs that say heat resistant. That means they're not going to melt under your tools. So I like to have this little tiny like flat iron. You can use any flat iron or curler, especially if it has like a temperature control. This one doesn't have a temperature control, but I just like that it's small.
You know what I've done to curl wigs? This is gonna be terrible. You know, like, after you use toilet paper, how there's that little
Oh, the toilet
cardboard
paper
roll?
roll.
I've just rolled it around that before and just put bobby pins, so you can do it cheap too, guys. You
Yeah,
can do it
that's a
cheap
great
too.
idea. I've used like plastic cups, like the ones that you like, use for like drinking or whatever. Chaco says we're girl bossing too hard sometimes. I know, like my full-time job is great. It's great, but yeah, that's we have to adult. So, but this one I just like it because it's tiny, and I usually only use them for like bangs. But regular sized ones you can use as long as you put it on like the lowest heat setting. And from there, you can move the heat setting up as long as you're testing it properly. Again, curls cool in shape in place, they don't heat in place. So you can't, a lot of times, let's talk about regular hair. Like people are like, how come my curls don't stay?
It's
And it's,
yeah, 'cause it heats our natural hair. That's why I was saying the difference between natural and synthetic. Natural heats in place, and you're right,
mhm,
synthetic cools in place.
yeah,
So,
exactly. So,
everything basically, if you think about it, if you take and do the exact opposite of pretty much everything you do with natural hair, you probably will get a wig perfect.
yes. So always think of like styling the hair is a lot like your normal hair. It's like putting the pins and doing the curls, but the actual like, shaping of, I guess I misuse those words, but like curling and combing, cutting, the three C's.
Those are the exact opposite of
Mhm.
what you would normally do with natural hair.
Yeah. Cutting is similar, but the tools are a little bit
You have
different.
to have much sharper tools, you can't thin it out, like, I have that thinning brush, I can only use
Mm,
that thinning brush on heat-resistant wigs, I can't use it on non-heat resistant wigs, or it ends
mhm.
up snapping the fibers and making them just spew out everywhere. So, yeah, you really, uh, have to learn how to thin it out using a very slow cutting method to make sure that you're not splitting the synthetic fiber.
Yep. And then again, talking about synthetic fibers, when we talk about washing, so not human hair wigs, because you're going to wash those similar to your hair, but synthetic fibers, you can use like, you can use a mild shampoo, you can use like mild fabric detergent. Oftentimes, I just use a little bit of fabric softener.
I
Um,
have an actual synthetic wig shampoo, they sell it on Amazon now, it's called
nice.
ON, and then there's several that you can find, for, any sort of any kind of a wig company that makes synthetic wigs, half the time they'll have their own shampoo, and it's usually like $8 and it lasts so long because, again, you're not having to wash it as regularly.
Right, absolutely. But like I said, you can just use since it's plastic.
Oh, you could just dish soap
You
too,
can
but
use
you have
dish
to
soap.
condition it if you unless you want it to be frizzy. If you want it to be frizzy, use
Yeah.
dish soap.
Now, don't use a lot. Like, it's like when we wash our clothes, like, we have a whole big whole drum full of clothes. So, usually just use like a little tiny capful. Or what I usually do is like, because I had to wash my Moana wig a lot. So, and it's big, right? So I'd
Well,
actually fill my tub
yeah,
and
well, and it has to be warm water too, right? Like, not
yes.
hot, not cold, just, like,
Mm-mm.
lukewarm.
Yeah, lukewarm water. Put a little bit of the, detergent or softener in. I usually swish it around a couple times. And then when you're done, you want to rinse it out, with the same temperature of water. Rinse it out as best as you can. Squeeze out all the water and let it air dry. Again, same for like 24 hours. Don't
Mhm.
work with your wig when it's wet. It's not
And
fun.
don't try to heat it dry because 'cause you'll just affect the fibers. You have to be
Yeah,
patient. You have to wait. If
yeah.
it's a shorter wig, like I say, if it's about to your shoulder length, it'll dry in 24 hours. If it's to your butt or longer, it will take 48 to 72 hours, so you'll need to plan
Now,
for several days.
Sam and I do live in a desert where it's often dry, so, if it
I mean,
does
our
take
wigs
long
dry in, like, let's be honest,
yeah,
8 to 10 hours.
yeah, so it might take longer, so just be patient. You have to wigs are not a one and, like, go, like,
If you
up and
have, like,
go.
a filter, like a HEP filter somewhere, put it in a room, close the door, and it'll help it dry faster.
Hmm, that's a good point.
HEPA filter, yep.
Taco says, "I love laundry detergent for wigs. We all have it. It's all there. Again, just don't overuse it because then it'll take forever for you to rinse it out."
Or you
Ah,
smell really good all the time, but sometimes that
Gain?
scent will drive you nuts.
Those Gain
I so this is the
commercials?
thing too, when you're, so we're talking about, like, cleaning wigs and stuff, to make sure after you've cleaned them that they're completely dry, I do recommend actually taking dryer sheets and putting them inside the wig where you
Mm.
store it, because the dryer sheet will absorb any potential moisture that's left over.
Yeah, and it will also definitely help with the static,
Yep.
because again, it's a plastic material. So also, like a lot of times when you're brushing wigs, people are like, "Why? It's so tangled. I'm going to use a hair detangler." Again, it's not real hair.
You gotta
There's
use silicone detangler.
Yeah, so this is one of the most popular things that people use. I don't know why the green screen's like not recognizing it.
Mane and
Mm,
tail. Yeah, it's a
mhm,
silicone spray. It's actually originally used on horsehair because horsehair is very coarse.
mhm.
It was used to style like, make it easier for stylists to brush through hair so that when horses were competing or when they were doing presentations, they could braid them in really easy ways, and the hair was soft and supple, and it does the same thing for synthetic wigs.
Now there are actual like wig detanglers, which you can use as well. The one thing I would tell you to be careful about this is that if you are styling over like a tile floor, you need to cover the floor. Cover the
Did I trip
floor.
and fall on my ass because I slipped on my own silicone
Oh,
detangler? Oh,
I've totally done it
absolutely.
too.
Yeah, and you don't wanna hurt yourself. So yeah, I what we recommend doing is, like, putting a tarp underneath or putting, like, a towel that you don't mind washing or getting dirty and making sure you have a space. I also recommend just doing it anyways. Even if you have carpet, it will stain your carpet over time depending on the color of your carpet, so just put something underneath to keep it safe.
You can also use like dollar store table covers, or maybe if you want something reusable, like a dollar store shower curtain.
Well, like, I
Um,
use a canvas, I use a canvas tarp to spray paint on because it's really easy, like, over time, you can just once it's dry, you can brush it off. I
nice.
fold it and I can put the wig styling on top of that and works there too. So, yeah.
Yeah. And then again, you're going to use that same technique, even though you're using that detangler, starting from the bottom. Gosh, my hair is just like, oof. Okay, starting from the bottom, working your way up.
And if it's a curly wig, and it retained its curls, you want to very carefully pick it out, or you want to take it and wrap it around a curler and let it dry around that so that it maintains that ringlet.
Yeah. So definitely, like after you brush it out, you know, then you're going to want to put it back into its shape, like Sam said,
Mhm.
into the ringlet. And then, yeah, oh, look at that. It even worked with my hair.
Mine doesn't do
Ah!
that.
So, so Matt says my favorite wig tip is powder to help with the shine, helping
Yeah,
it look a little
that's
more
what I did
realistic
because this
and matte.
wig and I mean, I wore this actually, I'll find a picture. I was with friends yesterday. I wore this wig out, and when I put it on first, it was so freaking shiny. I don't know where the picture is. Anyways, it was so shiny that I was really worried about wearing it in public and people knowing. I got 3 compliments on my hair. "Oh, your hair looks nice. I like the dye job." It was not my hair.
Yeah, so again, synthetic wigs have gotten a lot better over time. I will say this, like especially like the Korean ones, I'm like, dang, this one just looks
I
great.
know. You don't have to powder those. Those are
You don't have
so
to do
realistic.
anything. Yeah.
No.
But
But
if
I
you
use
do
makeup powder, by the way. You can also use talc. I don't like talc, though. It bothers me, so I use just, like, makeup powder.
you can also use dry shampoo. Dry
Yes.
shampoo is just an aerosol version of baby powder.
If you
That's
have a
great.
sensitive scalp, don't use it because test it.
Always test. But I do
Mhm.
I do have a couple cans of dry shampoo, and
Works so well.
And you can use them on your own hair to make it also like less shiny. But if you just kind of spray it over a wig, that usually helps. Dusting it with the powder and kind of dusting it in helps.
I
So
will say, with dry shampoo for human hair, you have to spray it and then brush to get it through. With synthetic, brushing it makes it fall out, so let it
yeah,
set and then shake it out. Yeah.
when I put dry shampoo in my hair, I have to like massage my
It
scalp and
doesn't
like
work
run
that
it
way
through.
for
Yeah,
synthetic, you just have to
don't do
leave it
that with the
there.
wig.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. So that is a really great tip. Although, like I said, wigs are getting better. I'm like surprised sometimes. I'm like, dang, I could just like throw this on and wear it out.
Yeah.
So yeah. Oh, I already shared all my tools.
Well, I have some pictures I can share.
Yeah, let's take a look.
So I could share, let's see here, let me go.
I would even recommend, like, if you've got like some intense styling to do on your wig, do it first before your cosplays, or do it
Yeah.
as you're doing your cosplays, especially if you're going to be heat styling it, because then you can style it. So, beginning of the day, beginning of your work day, you can style it, put it in the curlers, put it in whatever, put it aside for tomorrow, and then work on something else.
Hey, why is it not letting me? Oh, there we go. Okay. So I'm gonna go back. Yeah. All right. So this is just a straight green wig. And I went ahead and pulled it into like a little mini ponytail. And I do recommend using the clear rubber elastics. They tend to stay better. Um, Most of the stuff that you use on human hair kind of slides out of synthetic, so you need something with a bit of grip.
Yeah, and you can
Um,
always just snip those, like cut those out if you want to like
yeah,
change the
exactly. I've had a
style.
couple of them get caught and I got pissed and I just cut them out.
Yeah.
Um, but for this, I needed like a bun. So essentially, I have the tool here and I can show you because I forgot to take a picture of me wrapping it. But I have this wig free now, so it no longer requires this tool. But I put this you can still see the green left over in it too, because again, this is why you don't use
Hmm.
ones for natural hair, because the wig hair just gets stuck in it. And that's why it's nice to use the plastic ones. But I put this in here first, and then I put this in and I wrapped it around like this little part right here. And there's a magnet on it because when I wore the hat for this, so this is underneath here, you can't see it. Is when I wore the hat for it, it would just stay right on top, so I could use the magnet and knock it right into there.
Now, we
And
did
this is
mention this before. When you're styling things like ponytails, you're not going to pull it taut like you do with your normal hair, because when you do that, obviously it's going to open that up and not sit properly on your head. So definitely give it some slack, because you're going to want it to move a little bit as you're like putting the wig on, but you definitely don't want to pull it as tight as you would your normal hair.
no, no, you
Nope.
don't want to at all. It'll be a problem. And then like, here we go. This is one that has so this was a pain in my freaking butt.
Hmm.
Oh, look, boobs. Anyways, uh,
Boobs.
so what I did is actually up here, this bun part right here, it is not part of the whole wig. So it was meant it's a clip in. So the clip is turned the other direction. So it's usually you clip into your hair, and I think I have a clip. Let me grab a clip because I want to show people like what I mean by clipping it the wrong direction. If I still have my clip. Sorry guys, I thought I pulled everything out. I guess I didn't.
Uh, Yeah,
It's
so clipping it, because obviously you want a little, more volume than you normally
Here we
would.
go. Yeah. So I found my little clip I could share. So most of the time when you're putting a clip in your hair, it's like this. It's up and down on your hair. Well, I needed it to be wider on the back, so I rotated it, and then I took all the hair and tucked it up inside the clip. Bobby pinned it inside this clip right here, so that when I clipped it down, it wasn't affecting the strength of it. Um, and then I just went through and you can see there's this little plastic bit right there, and that's to keep there were a couple strands of the bang that were just going the wrong direction. Off and on, you'll buy a wig and they'll try to make it look more natural by adding these little like wispy hairs. But if you're trying to have a pulled back look, it's so annoying. So I
Yeah.
put this little piece of plastic here so that I could pull it back securely without it sticking straight up.
Now, when Sam mentions like this piece is, a separate piece and blah, 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 a lot of times don't try and style everything in the wig like you would with normal hair.
No.
A lot of times it helps to have like a base wig and then to put extensions or other
Yep.
pieces on. I mean, you definitely want to make sure that it all comes from the same company, because if it's a unusual color like this, if it's black, usually those are okay, but the fibers can be different too. So best bet is to get all your pieces from the same company,
Yeah.
and then you can add them in. You can either attach them permanently, or you can put them separate where you store them separately and then you
Oh,
style it
look. Oh no.
separately.
That was when they were leaning against something. Anyways, guys, sorry, I have too many pictures in here, but my partner was helping me and he was leaning up against a chair and he ended up with like an indent on his back. But uh,
But I
but
have a wig that
also
I
if I
can.
zoom in here, you can see we were talking about those pens earlier. That right there is
Mm.
one of the little pens.
Hmm. Nice. I actually have one I can share.
Okay.
Can I get on here? La, da, da, da. So this is going to be pretty funny. It's harder to do this on my laptop with one screen, but let's see. Oh, we're going to do a Chrome tab. Here we go. So can you guys see that? Can you see that, Sam?
Yeah.
I think. Okay. So this is my diva black hat diva wig, right? And people are always scared of like ponytails and like pigtails. And so I tried to style it in one wig. And that was such a bad idea because this is such a pain in the butt to maintain. You can
Well, and
see
you're
that.
trying to hide the wefts, so you have to part it
Mhm.
funny and
Well,
yeah.
and the hair is already curled. So it's like, am I going to have to straighten those pieces? A lot of work. So, what I did the second time around, and I know it's hard to see here, but this is actually sold as is. Actually, this came with a longer wig, which is weird. It came with a long wig and then the two pigtails. So, what I did was buying it from the same seller on Amazon, I bought a bob wig. So, I bought the shortest wig that they have so that the hair just goes down straight and then I put in the clips separately. So yeah, it doesn't look like hair is pulled back, but I mean it works, and people aren't going to be that critical about. Oh, well, you don't actually have pigtails. So a lot of times when you're having your hair up, that's the best way to go if you're still
If you
starting
can make
out.
everything separate, it's better. Plus, it's
Mhm.
easier to transport it if it's in pieces.
Yeah. So let me see if this, oh, that, share this tab instead. Okay. So can you see the Amazon link here?
I can't see the picture because
Oh,
it's only
yeah.
halfway showing. There we go.
There
Yeah.
we go. So this is just a bob. And
Mhm.
again, like usually a shorter one is great. And this is what you would make your hair pulled back look. And then if I were to do a ponytail on this one, I might just gather the bottom part of this in the back so that it's not like loose.
What I like to do
Plus-
is I just loosely part it, and then I just stick it in the clips, so it
Mhm.
looks like it's parted.
Yeah, that's a good idea too. And then just get like one hair clip as your ponytail, and that could be your ponytail. Don't stress about getting a super long wig and like styling it, because also that's going to
Mm-mm.
affect its weight distribution.
Yep.
Um, a lot of times, how I style this is I'll put the base wig on, and then the clip that's usually the ponytail extension, I'll just clip it in, and sometimes it grabs my own hair too. And you're gonna have to practice as well, depending on how heavy that ponytail clip is, where it should go for weight distribution.
That's
That's
where wig grips are really important even if you
mhm.
have hair, is putting on that wig grip, will ensure it won't slip.
Now, I mean, it's definitely a lot easier than having one whole big giant wig that you're trying to maneuver,
Yeah,
and
and
that's
you'll over
definitely.
time, the weight of that hair will give you a headache if you're unfamiliar with it, so that's why it's nice to be able to take it off for a period of time and have a break.
Absolutely. So Matt has mentioned, what about storage? So I wanted to make sure that we touched on this at the end. So Sam, talk about how you store your wigs, and I'll talk
So,
about how I store
most
mine.
of my wigs are actually in the bags they originally came
Mm.
in. I don't have any wigs that need to be permanently styled. All of my wigs I can style the day before the event and make it work. The ones that I do have to style the day before event, I actually have a couple spare like mannequin heads that I can pin them to. So when I'm traveling, I'll and Chibi Raincloud showed this where we'll take like you could take the Build-A-Bear boxes or you just take like a big Amazon box and you'll take the head and put it in that box and transport it that way. But typically all of mine I wash, clean, braid depending on the length of it, and store. When I'm storing them, if they need to remain fluffier, I keep most mannequin or most wigs come with a piece of tissue paper in it, and it's to help keep that rounded shape. So I will stick the rounded shape in there if it needs to remain more round. My head's so small, I don't usually have to do that.
Yeah.
Um, but I would say you would put the tissue paper in there, and then I wrap it with a net, like a beard
The
net,
hairnet.
to make
Yeah.
sure that the static avoids it. And if I'm concerned about moisture, I stick a dryer sheet in it, and then it's in a large, it's usually a not a typical plastic bag. It's one of those like frosted plastic bags that don't have any prints on them, and it's essentially had some rubber added into it so that it's a lot smoother.
I pretty much do mine the same way as well. Unless it comes in a box, because they send some wigs in boxes, I will transfer it to plastic bag. And if you do a lot of online shopping, like I do, I actually save all of those zip bags that a lot of stuff come in. So if I don't have a bag for the wig, I store it in those and I label them. Yeah, I'm a little bit crazy. I have a
Yeah,
label
because
maker.
sometimes you'll get a wig for free when you buy a costume, but then for some reason it'll only be in the net, and then the wig will be in with the costume bag, so you don't have a separate bag for your wig.
Mhm,
I always recommend that your wig is stored separately from your costume. I mean, it can be attached to the same hanger or in the same box, however you store it, but don't put your wig in with your costume. The reason for this is some wigs, the way that they're dyed, the color will transfer to your costume.
mhm. Yeah, absolutely. So definitely store them separately on their own. Invest in some hair nets that you can get anywhere, literally anywhere, anywhere that sells any hair tools, and that definitely helps it from tangling within the bag. If you have one that's styled that needs to be like let's say like
It needs to
Ariel,
be
like
permanently styled, yeah.
yeah, like Ariel's big bangs. Often what you want to do is get a wig head. Those foam ones are fine for storing.
Let me see if I can
Usually,
find Chibi's. Chibi might have some photos of this. I'll see if I can
yeah,
pull it up.
usually what I do is I will store it on the styrofoam wig head. I'll take a hairnet. So you put your pins. I'll take a hairnet and then I will connect it to the pins on the top and I'll drag it to pick up all of the hair. So if it's a long wig, I want to put it all into this wig cap, sorry, hairnet. And then additionally, depending on where it's being stored, I'll cover it with a plastic bag um, to prevent it getting dusty.
Yeah,
And
I think
those
I
are
found the way. Yeah, so
mhm.
where
And I've
is
seen people store them in like the cube organizers,
mm.
like the IKEA cube organizers. I've seen people make them, or they'll put them on like shelves up top high, so they're not being bothered. I've seen
Yeah,
people
this is the
make
funniest photo I've ever seen. Like, this is a good idea. If you know those shoe racks you can hook onto the back of a door.
the ones that have
So
like the U, right?
yeah, I totally forgot about this. This made me laugh so hard. Though, where's my Chrome tab? There it is. This is amazing. You just buy the little shoe rack
Yeah.
and you can hang them on the back there. And the cool thing is if you need it to be on a mannequin head, most of the ones have a small enough hole that like the shoe will fit right inside of it.
I mean, or you could
Um
even like just hollow out those styrofoam
Mhm.
wig
But you
head
can also
holes.
get, like, wig storage like this from Amazon, where it hooks onto things and you can store the wig over it, so if it has needs more of a shape, you can do, like, these guys up
Hmm.
top. I've even seen people just use the shoe bags, but usually, if it does not need to be, styled, just putting it in a bag should be okay, because
Hmm.
as long as it's clean or disinfected or it's dry or you have a dryer sheet in there to make sure there's no moisture, you're wicking the moisture, you should be fine. Um, because I will say if you have a lot of wigs that need to have permanent styling, you might want to like install a shelf
Hmm.
somewhere on a wall so that with pegs that you can just put a bunch of mannequin heads
I've
on.
seen people build things with like PVC pipe, like a big
Yeah.
like coat rack with like wigs all the way around. But honestly, like my wigs that are just like I use them as they come. I put them back in the bags and I actually have them in a storage box, like stacked in. And as long as you take care of them and you put them, in the appropriate storage, like hairnet, you've brushed them out, I can usually just take them right back out and wear them.
Yeah, I
Um,
like to keep my wigs in bags too because most of my costumes I have on a hanger
mm,
and I poke a little hole in the bag and I hook it onto the hanger so that it's with because I have suit bags and there's multiple hangers in each suit bag. And I keep the wigs hooked onto it so I know which one's assigned to which, or I'll put a label on it and I put it in a box because there's some wigs that are just really big. They take up 2-inch space. Like the really longer ones where they've got
yeah.
like clips associated with them. I'll just put a bag and then when I have that costume, it'll have a note saying, go grab your wig or go grab your shoes. So
Now, a couple quick tips about buying wigs. I mean, I am an Amazon like
check
fangirl,
the size of
obviously.
it too, like, make
I
sure it
check,
can
yeah.
go
And
yeah.
then I always check reviews and pictures will tell you a lot. Even if people are like, this is a great wig, if that's not the look you're going for, maybe you need to keep looking. But then if
Yeah.
you have the budget to spend a little bit more, wig companies like Arda will actually have different sizes.
Yeah, like, this wig right here, it's a lace front. We briefly talked about lace front wigs. This wig was only $25.
They're
Um,
getting really good prices with these wig like lace
yeah,
fronts.
the problem is some of these ones that are really cheap, if you're not as freaking pale as I am,
Hmm.
you may not be able to get a different wig netting. I'd say if you want to be able to choose the color of your lace, you're probably going to be starting at a base, even if it's synthetic, of about $45.
Mhm.
A lot more companies are becoming more inclusive with being able to choose your lace color. You can actually, dye your lace color. You can, or you can even use like your makeup to cover it and make
Mhm.
it match your skin tone. But I'm appreciating that more and more of them are actually offering different lace tones depending on your skin tone. It's just if you're going cheaper, understand you probably won't be able to choose that. You'll have to go with whatever you receive. But more and more of them are allowing you to choose it. And I think that's just because it's becoming so important. But the thing with this, we mentioned earlier with lace fronts, if you have a lower hairline,
Like me,
you
I only have like a
might
three
want to,
head.
yeah, you have a lower hairline. What you might want to do is actually pull some of your hair out, wear the lace up a little higher, and then color your hair with wax or spray to match the
Mhm.
wig. Because if you wear your wig a little too low, it makes you look unnatural.
Yeah, it does. It really
So
does.
you'll want to pay close attention to the position of your wig as well. And that's one thing that I actually see a lot at conventions where people are like, this wig doesn't work for me. Well, it's
They're
probably
wearing
because
it
your
way too
hairline's
forward.
too low and
Mm.
you've lowered it more. And so just be aware that if you're wearing something where you have to show your forehead, you might have to pull
Yeah.
your own hair out and then color it the color of the wig to match it.
Yeah. I do like um dermaplaning. So you don't need to go that extreme, but I do anyway because I
See, I
do
have a widow's
dermaplaning
peak.
anyway.
I may as well just
Yeah.
shave all my hair off.
But I have like, yeah, I have only a three head. So mine comes down really low. Wigs that already have bangs, I usually have to cut the bangs even shorter or I have to wear it further back. Which definitely wig caps are necessary for that. So yeah, if you are somebody like me with, a low hairline,
Oh,
those
word of
are other
warning
ways that you could
too,
do.
if you have a bigger head and you're using those wig caps, make sure you pre-stretch them or you can cause a welt on your head.
Ooh, yes, and that's another thing too is when you're wearing your wigs, for a long time, it can be painful.
Don't wear them
A
too tight. Make sure you have more clips if you're gonna wear them a long time, or make sure you use tape instead so that you're not putting too much pressure on your head.
Make sure that whatever you're clipping into your hair is weight balanced. And if it's not, you make sure you get it to the right way. Because one time I had a wig that was like a ponytail one. So this was like actually
Mhm.
styled like a ponytail with a ponytail clip. And then I made another clip. It was Arietti from my Secret
Oh,
World of
yeah, that was
Arietti.
so cute.
So I had that big clip and it was so heavy. I hated it. I could not. I had a headache all day. A lot of times too, like wig caps will give you a headache. So make sure that you test those, especially the black netting ones, because they have the one band that's really tight.
Yeah, that's why you gotta stretch it out.
Stretch them out
Yeah.
a little bit.
And that's
Yeah,
why I
try.
recommend if you're planning like, say you're competing and you have to go to prejudging early, and but then you, like, work in time for you to take a break and take your wig off, like,
Mhm.
make it a point to do that. More and more cons have storage areas, more and more cons have relaxation areas, more and more conventions have cosplay areas. Make a point to take a break. I do this
Mhm.
for contacts because I wear crazy contacts, but I know that my eyes may not be able to breathe, so I take it out. Like, I only wear those, like, big sclera contacts for maybe 4 to 6 hours, and then I take it out and I let my eyes rest for an hour, and I'll just do something.
Even 4 hours is a long time for those scleras because they cover like your
Yeah,
whole
and
eye.
but you have to think about the same thing with wigs, right? It's the
Mhm.
same thing if you're wearing heavy armor. It's like what you see at Disneyland, the characters are only out for, like, a couple hours at a time because they're exerting themselves.
Yeah.
So, be kind to yourself and make sure you're working in moments to take a break. That's why we like the idea of having magnets or clips so that you can take a break from the weight of the wig.
And if you do, I mean, I always keep, ibuprofen on me too. Like if oh my gosh, I really just need to, I'm going to try this. I don't know if it'll work. Like keep some things on you that will help in case that you do have are your ears saying bye?
My ears are saying, "I am listening."
So guys, good luck. Wigs and styling do not have to be expensive. Again, like
Mhm.
I know that we promote Amazon a lot, but there are other companies that have them.
Epic wigs, Arta wigs. Arta, I have not found one that's small enough for my head.
Yeah, art is great for people with bigger heads.
Epic
I
wigs does have some smaller bands. So I'd say Epic, Arta, Map of Beauty.
Map of Beauty is great for smaller heads.
Yes,
Yes, and Map of Beauty, they do tend to be on the thinner side. So these are great ones if you want to.
they're
Um,
getting better. Um,
But if you wanna,
yeah,
like, meld 2 wigs together or you need extensions, you take one what I've done is I've cut up one wig and then added extensions to another one. Those
another yeah.
that's like wig styling 201. Um, but yeah, so definitely, guys, it's getting better. You don't, and you can also buy secondhand wigs. I know this sounds crazy, but it's synthetic, so it can be
Yeah,
disinfected,
if you buy it and it smells bad or it's not clean, you can clean it, and then you
Mhm.
can use it, and it's really easy. And I would recommend if like, I just seem the problem I have is the reason I have like, I try to keep my wigs and reuse them as many like, I have wigs, certain colors that I try to use over and over and over and over
Yeah,
again,
same.
because I don't like buying wigs. I have such a
Mhm,
small head, it is a serious problem for me, like, it is a legitimate issue. Um, but if you have a larger head, they seem to be catering more towards that. Like most of the
mhm.
wigs I'm finding now are like 22 to 24 inches.
Yeah,
And
mine's an average, I'd say, like 21 and a half, 22.
yeah,
So
that's
I'm pretty
that's the average
lucky.
person. Yeah.
I actually inherited some Arta wigs from a friend, and they were actually big. I was like, "Whoa,"
They're
but
so
luckily
big, but they have really nice clips in them that
they
help hold
do.
me if you have hair.
They do. Arta is a really top quality wig brand, but again, like, there's a lot of cheaper brands out there that are getting better and better, and I'm just like, "Whoa, it's so cool." So
Mhm.
don't freak out, guys. You can do the wig. Just give yourself enough time to style it, prepare it. Don't ever take your wig to the con the day of and then be like,
Yeah,
"Okay, I'm
and
ready to
don't
style."
buy a costume that comes with a wig and expect the wig to actually be perfect.
Yeah, no wig unless it's, like, styled by an actual commissioner who's gonna send it in a special box in the shape, is not gonna come out exactly like the
The
picture.
only exception would be like those really, really short wigs. It's
Yeah, short
usually you
wigs
just
mhm.
shake them out and you're usually
Well,
okay.
even, like, my Seraphine wig, right? Like, it was styled like Seraphine, but I still needed to, do things to fluff up the bangs and to,
Yeah.
like, set the hair. So
Like,
never
I just
be
got an Aerith wig, I'm sure the day of, or, like, a
mhm.
couple days before, I'm going to have to hang the bangs upside down because she has, like, such fluff in her bangs. Like, I don't think I'll have a problem with the braid or the back of it, it's going to be that front
Mhm.
section.
A lot of the fluffy things in bangs are always gonna come flat. So never just think that you can pull a wig out and just wear it. That's almost never gonna happen. I
Mm-mm.
see a lot of reviews where it's like, "Oh, this wig looks awful," but it's like they haven't like aired it out or shook it out
Yeah.
or so it's like clothes. You gotta prepare, when you buy new clothes, you gotta wash them first and this and
Mhm.
that and blah blah. Well, anyway, so we are 2 minutes over.
Sorry,
Holy
guys.
smokies.
I
So
mean, wig styling, I'm not even that good of a wig styler, and I this is literally just the basic information.
mm.
If we go more advanced, I'm gonna have to leave it to better hands because like, that red wig I showed you is the max of what I can
Mm.
handle.
Yeah, I actually styled, well, I mean, it was already half styled, but I fixed up, Liz's, Megara wig, so I next time we do that one, I'd love to show that one because
I just
um,
I hate
in
wigs.
yeah, advanced wig styling, it's gonna look worse before it gets better, so that's why it's hard to, like, get into it because people think that they're failing when it's like, "No, you just gotta,
No,
trust the
you
process."
just have to treat it like thermoplastic, and if I'm gonna be working with thermoplastic, I'd rather make armor.
So, guys, thanks for tuning in, and, our next stream is when, Sam?
It's gonna be, February 28th, Wednesday, I believe I said it at 6 PM, and we're just going to be crafting.
Yeah, so if you have some things that you want to craft or you want to just hang out and see how we do things, you're definitely welcome to join. This is our new schedule. However, doesn't mean that we're not going to be doing other things. We will be doing other things for events, and we might do some special streams, pop ups. But just know that you'll always find us for the one Sunday and the one Wednesday every month.
Mhm.
So you can find me jinxcosplay.com or on social medias at the Jinx Cosplay.
And you can find me, thermocosplay.com or on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at thermocosplay.
All right, and then we are costtalk-live.com, and on our socials, we are Cost Talk Live.
And we're gonna be doing some updates to websites, so I've just had 2024 has not been kind to me, so
Yeah,
I've
it's
had a
been
rough
rough.
year.
Yeah, so be kind to us too, guys, and we will see you next time.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for
Bye.
joining us.